All right, question 22. This is the toughest one. Vertices of a triangle are at 0, 0, 6, 6, and 9, 3. What is the volume in cubic units of a figure created by rotating the triangle about the line y equals x? There's a lot to unpack here. Let's graph it. 0, 0. 6, 6. You do get graph paper on this. 9, 3. All right, so we have a triangle. It looks to me that this triangle might be considered a right triangle. But we can kind of verify that it's a right triangle by looking at the slope. This has a positive slope of 1. This has a negative slope of -1. So they're going to be perpendicular to each other. But it says, what's the volume? First of all, when you rotate across a line y equals x, did you know that the line y equals x is the diagonal line? Did you also know you can plot points? So if you want to plot a few points just to make sure you're drawing them right, there's 0, 0. There's 6, 6. And there's 9, 3. So you can see, all right, we got it, we got it right. We got all the 3 points. And if you were to draw a line between here, you would have yourself a right triangle. But we're rotating it around about, excuse me, this line, y equals x. So when I rotate, this will spin and what's going to happen is it's going to make a cone. And guess what? You got to know the volume of a cone formula. So the volume of a cone formula is 1/3 pi r squared multiplied by the height. So it says, what is the volume in cubic units of the figure created by rotating the triangle about y equals x? Well, what is r and h? R is this length here. The radius is the distance from the center of the circle to the edge. And the height is this distance here from the origin to the point 6, 6. Because in a cone, if I were to turn that upright, it would have a radius to look like that and a height to look like that. So this is just rotated, okay? So let's think about what that radius and height are. Let's do a little Pythagorean theorem, okay? The radius here, if I have the point 6, 6, and 9, 3, then this distance here from 6 to 3, that's 3. And this distance from 6 to 9 is also 3. So this radius you can get by doing the Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared plus 3 squared equals the radius squared. That's going to be 9 plus 9. So it's going to be the square root of 18. So that's your radius. Your radius is the square root of 18. Now let's look at our height. Our height, let me exaggerate this a little bit. That distance right there represents your height. It's going from 0, 0 to 6, 6. We can again do another right triangle here. This one's a little bit easier. This is going to go 6 to the right and 6 up. So for your height, you're going to do another Pythagorean theorem. And you'll say 6 squared plus 6 squared equals your height squared. So 6 squared is 36, plus another 36 is going to be 72. So your height will be the square root of 72. Now that we have our radius and our height, we can actually plug them into our volume formula. So our volume is 1/3 pi times the square root of 18. That's your radius, but we're going to square that, multiplied by your height, which is the square root of 72. One of these answer choices is going to match up with this. And frankly, let's cross out the ones that don't have pi in them, because you need to have pi. So it's either going to be 36 pi square root of 2 or 108 pi square root of 2. Now, if you're not comfortable reducing radicals, you can match up the decimals, which is, I think, the approach I'm going to do with you guys. So I'm going to type in 1/3, hit the right arrow, do pi, parentheses. You can do the square root or type SQRT, 18. Close it up, and then you're going to square that. Now, the square root of 18 squared is just 18. And then you're going to times that by the square root of 72. And you get a volume of about 159.9. So that volume is approximately 159.9 units squared. So which one of those is going to be 159.9? We're going to check that. So it looks like it's 36 pi. If you do 108 pi, that's going to be too big. So 36 pi square root of 2 is what that reduces to. Now, that was a tough one, right? If you're interested in reducing that, I'll show you a couple tricks here. If you're okay with the decimals, you can move on. But the 1/3, leave out the pi, and the square root of 18 squared times the square root of 72. Well, the square root of 18 squared is 18, so it's 1/3 of 18. And 72, remember, is 36 plus 36, so it's really the square root of 36 times 2, if you break it down. 1/3 of 18 is 6. And if you square root the 36, that's going to be 6 with a square root of 2 inside. So that's going to be 6 times 6, which is 36 square root of 2. And don't forget, we left the pi out, so it's 36 pi times square root of 2, if you're interested. If you're nerdy like me and want to know where that all comes from, that's where it does.